Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to look at the FV215B, a tank that's had its ups and downs over the years. Now, it's a tank that I like. Now, it can be a very tough tank to deal with, but also it could be a quite easy tank to deal with. It all depends on who's playing this tank. Now, it is a very skill-based tank. Those very skilled players will do really well in the tank. Now, one thing what I want Wargaming to do more, now I don't actually have the tank, have the camo, but what Wargaming did a couple of years ago is had some kind of event. So they had some kind of event where they had this camouflage, but in blue, well, kind of blue. That was called the Octopus X, and they've done it for a couple of tanks. Literally, I think this and one other tank, where if you get 5 mastery badges, you unlock the other camouflage. And they stopped doing it. You know, they didn't really even announce that they were doing it. It was just kind of a thing that happened. And as soon as people sort of clocked on, it was almost impossible to get a mastery badge in this tank. Like, all the pros wanted it and all the pros were getting it, but it was for the average kind of player. Even me, for example, I was getting sort of 1600 XP, which is normally enough to ace every tank in the game. Was like a second class. It was really, so it made it almost impossible. And the replay we're going to see will go to show just how this tank can play in the right hands. So let's talk about the tank. So of course it is a British tier 10, tier 10 heavy tank. Let's look at the stats. So your turret is actually very good, 260 mil of turret armor, and there's not a lot of weak points on that armor. So the way it's sloped, the way it's angled, it is actually quite a very good turret. Now your lower plate especially is quite weak. Overall you got 140 millimeters, but it's not too bad. It is your weak point obviously on your hull, and because it's a rear turreted tank as well, to get your gun depression, you kind of got to sort of angle your tank sideways, which then makes your tank quite open to get penetrated. So that's why I say it is a sort of a skill based tank. The skilled players will find it a lot easier to play than the not so skilled players. Now the DPM is pretty good at 3008. That is also with me running calibrated shells. That's just an 8-second reload, which is pretty good in my opinion. So you can get that up to around 3200 or so if you want to run it with the rammer. 280 pen on your AP and 342 on your APCR, but what it does have of course is HESH at 184 millimeters of pen. So very nice HE pen there, and you need to try and use that because it will pump up your DPM. You've got a 400 alpha gun, 340 if you use premium, and of course 515 if you use that HESH. Your aim time is pretty solid at 2.7, the same as your gun dispersion at 0.303. In my opinion, I would probably run it with the refined gun, because let's just go back. You still have good aim time, but you have better, where are we? So you still got 2.9 seconds on your aim time, which is still good, but that just brings it down to your gun dispersion to 0.257, which is then really good. You have 7 degrees of gun depression with a top speed of 40 kilometers per hour. So let's get straight into it because this game is a very good game. So here we are on Alpenstat. Now again, this battle is a fantastic battle. It does help of course when you do have an AFK, but I always say it, you know, just to get top damage, you haven't just got to be a skilled player. Of course it's a lot easier for skilled players to be able to get top damage, but to get top damage you still need a bit of luck. What I mean by that is, you know, it depends on your team, whether they're good or not. If you've got 3 OP players, then you're not going to be able to get that damage. The enemy may have 6 OP players, which then they're just going to rip through your team. You need sort of a bit of luck where it comes to sort of matchmaking wise, and of course luck where it comes with ammo racks or AFKs or anything like that. It's not just about being a skillful player. I don't think I've really seen too many battles where they've got sort of 8k, 9k, 10k damage all through skill. Like, it's never really going to be all through skill. Again, it all depends on the teams as well, and etc, etc. So Alpenstadt, he's pushed to the left side, and you can see already he's not in the best of positions if he was to be pushed by that E6. He could easily be pushed by that E6, and then the 60 TP could potentially push him as well. So he has taken a little bit of a shot from that guy, and he's going to try and side scrape here against this building to get that nice shot on the 60 TP. Of course, the 60 TP is backing up because the enemy or the green team do have a few tanks sort of around the corner. So he's backing up, which allows our FE to sort of hide behind the rock, get down a little bit, and this is where the HE can really come very useful. Just over 520 damage there into the side of a super heavy tank like the like that 60 TP. So he's actually in a decent position now. Now, he didn't go for that Hesh shot there. He probably could have, but because the tank was turning, he felt it was safer just to go for the AP, which, you know, it's high risk, high reward. To get the Hesh, you have to sort of risk it. Now, look at this. I mean, not many people would go for this shot. Not on that VK, there is only a small section where he can penetrate with HE at that angle. He went for it and it paid off, and he got over 500 damage. Now, of course, the VK is turned. It is a lot easier for him to be able to get that Hesh shot. And he's using the Hesh like fully. He's using it absolutely fully. And not everyone, I mean, people forget about these tanks with Hesh. They kind of remember the tanks like the Death Star because, you know, that is all the Death Star is about, that Hesh. But people kind of forget about this tank. They kind of forget about things like the Tortoise. They just forget to use the Hesh. They forget that it's got very, very high Hesh pen, and they just stick to the AP and the APCR. But honestly, play it, use the Hesh, because you can penetrate a lot with this Hesh. I mean, look at that, frontally on a heavy tank, yes, the lower plate, but frontally on that heavy tank, he was still able to penetrate him with Hesh. So you can penetrate a lot of tanks frontally, and most tanks from the side, and pretty much every tank from the rear. So make sure you do load out enough of that Hesh. Again, side on didn't quite work against that 1-2-1, especially as it was a max roll, but I like the fact he still went for it again, even though he only had 400 hit points. So far 5,100 damage. The Object 260 here is a one shot, so he does need to be careful, and just 2 tanks left alive, one of them being the Grill, who we know is still very juicy indeed. So he's going to rush towards 479, a bit of a low roll there, but again, he's going to go in, try to get the ram, get up close, because again, if you're up close with this tank, you are actually able to get a few bounces. Now, he has actually only bounced 1 shot in this battle so far, and the Object 260 does take him out. So just 1 tank left alive, and of course, it is going to be an AFK. So 6,500 damage. There is the concept 1B. Full hit points, 2,350 hit points, and he's going to want to get there quickly. And that's another thing with this tank as well. It does have that special speed boost. Now, look at that. Look how easy that is to penetrate that guy frontally with the Hesh. There's no need for him to even waste time to get it behind him. Another 500 roll, and this is what I mean. Like, if you can get this tank in a great position, you can have a very, very good game. I mean, look at that, 600 damage, and then he puts him on fire to do like an insane amount of damage. He manages to get the win, get the kill, and finishing on 8,500 damage. And that is what this tank is capable of doing. I've seen it time and time again with this tank with that much damage, because it is a brilliant tank, but you have to play it correctly. So let me know what you think of the FV215B. Let me know in the comments below. But for now, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I will catch you all soon. Bye-bye.